I'm going to be working on my first project that takes use of the Happy Ghast, and it's going to be in my end. That's right, this dimension right here. And one of the fun things about this is it's actually going to be a project that I actually did a long time ago. It's one of people's long-term favorites of mine because I decided the end was a nice dimension, but I would like to laminate it with glass. This is many a destroyed desert that you're looking at right here, but what I actually did is I decided to make sure that this actually made any sense to build and was a fun project. I wouldn't place blocks under the very bottom here. So this is the, I'm so glad I have an elytra on. This is the bottom of the end, and as you can see, there is no glass down here because it's just a pain to place and nobody will see from under there anyway. But this got me thinking, now we have the Happy Ghast, I can actually take some of these spots and now cover them in glass a lot easier. And so assuming that my Happy Ghast hasn't flown away, this is the scary thing about Happy Ghast. If you don't tie them to a fence post somewhere, you might not know if you're ever going to find them again, but this is a Happy Ghast, and using this, I'm going to cover the end in glass. Hello everyone, I'm IBX Toycat, and welcome to a live stream on the internet. It's your favorite British American... I'm wearing a Grand Canyon shirt, that really adds to it, huh? It's your favorite person of unknown English-speaking origin today, and I'd like to start by saying it's good to see you all. I have a very funny... So you can see this, like, this is another great example of what we could do with it. I think we have, like, a few loose blocks that we couldn't cover because we were, like, actually placing our blocks from there, that we can now come in and... Oh, God! Actually put our blocks on, and then that means we can also place our shulker box right here. Although it seems like we have enough inventory slots not to need to stress a bit too much, but still, isn't this wonderful? The answer is yes, yes it is. So hello everyone, hello coffee drinking lesbians, says Eric Gauthier. Hello indeed, even to the coffee drinking lesbians, which represents the overwhelming majority of our subscribers, of course. Or actually, I guess regulars on the live streams. So, something about the Toycat style is just entirely enticing. I realized something recently, chat, which is like we don't do that many like speedrunning streams anymore, which were like a real like I don't know, like gambler's fallacy sort of thing. Like, you know, is it gonna be the run, etc., etc. And I wonder if that was in some part what led to the large number of coffee drinking, you know, like I feel like coffee is addictive, you know, maybe so to our ladies based on my experience as a guy, and so maybe, you know, that's the explanation there. But anyway, yeah, it is a very happy Sunday where I'm at, and yeah, I want to explain. I feel like the streaming schedule on this channel is just as explainable as it'll ever. You know, it requires as much explanation as you feel like it does, which is always it's one of those. You know, it's the stream schedule lines up with the moons on Mars or something like that. But the more serious point I want to make is like so we skipped a stream recently, and I want to give you an update on that because I'm such a believer in the idea that you don't need to go to hospital for as many things. Like everyone, has anyone ever told you like, oh, you need to go to a hospital? 89% chance that they were not lying to you, but they were, you know, like, not even fobbing you off and just being like, look, go speak to a medical professional, not me. But like, I think most problems, especially if you're a healthy young person, most problems just go away by themselves. I think, you know, you hit a certain age and, you know, maybe that stops being true. I think if you have a certain like lifestyle, that also isn't true. But yeah, I decided, despite my own advice, to go to the hospital because my hearing just started disappearing, internet. And yeah, I went and got a really fun explanation of what was going down. But it meant that the reason I couldn't do my last stream was because I was just starting to get some random ear pain that I was like, well, I like having my ear. I talk a lot, and what's really interesting is if you can't hear from one of your ears, this is the weirdest fact, but you don't hear your own. You hear yourself both through your ears, but also through the bones in your mouth, and so it's really weird hearing your whole left ear vibrate, but not hearing your voice the same. Anyway, so I went to the hospital. They were all like, they were very chill about it. I was like the first person in line, so I didn't feel like I was wasting anyone's time. And they were just like, oh yeah, like there's like a 5% chance it's horribly infected. Here is a spray for if that happens. But otherwise, you know, just the standard. If you've ever had the classic advice from a doctor on this, it's like, yeah, you just put olive oil in your ear and it magically makes the earwax go away. I'm actually amazed. One of the things that I think should be like one of the biggest quality of life increases you can have is getting your like ears blasted by a doctor. They take out all the earwax and you start hearing again. Like, have you ever put on glasses and you get that feeling where you're like, whoa, you're actually meant to be able to see individual leaves? I thought that was a movie thing. By the way, thank you for the first tip of the stream. First tip of the week, if we argue that weeks start on Sundays. Do you think that W Traders would have been loved on Legacy Console Edition? Yeah, the Wandering Trader would have made both more sense on Legacy Console and less sense. More sense, I think less sense because the worlds are so tiny. Like, the Wandering Trader would be traveling over to 600 blocks that way at the very most, which seems kind of silly, right? So yeah, actually, even though I said we'd be going underneath the end, it actually looks like a place we could get more value out of is from the side at the end here. And so that's where we're going to start. If this is where, like, look at this. There's just some blocks that I missed. Wow, 2018 Toy Cat missed some spots. And I'm going to fix them up for him because, you know, we don't judge 2018 Toy Cat. Because I'm very aware that we're all 2018 Toy Cat when it comes to some projects. Oh, yeah, it's so cool seeing this new end light just kind of happen here. Sudden hearing loss is a medical emergency. But, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I do believe, for most people, if you lose your hearing suddenly, it will probably go back. As long as there's a good reason that you think it's gone away. And that reason is gone. Anyway, this isn't good advice. Or, you know, actually, I would say this isn't medical advice. But I don't know why people say that. Like, as I feel like good luck trying to sue me in my jurisdiction for, you know, like, if in your jurisdiction accepting medical advice from YouTubers is an acceptable practice, then it's not a place that I expect to have any legal issues from. So, you know, let me give you some medical advice. Everything will go away, probably. One day, you know, even you will go away. But yeah, I'm half deaf, have a history of ear infections. You basically had a skin tumor in my left ear. I have a prosthesis to support my middle ear bones now, so I joke about being a cyborg. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's nuts how we forget about this because everyone in the world needs to be. I think this is a real like modern news bias. You know how like algorithms worked out really quickly that they can't just show you happy things all the time because when you're happy, you're content. You stop scrolling. So they show you the occasional happy thing with a bunch of like darkness mixed in. But you can't just show things to people that make them unhappy. You're gonna be like, look, this is relevant. You need to see it right now, and you know, you get people trapped in the loop. I feel like the news worked that out a long time ago. And so something that is like controversial but very true is that actually we have we massively, because of medical technology, because of just how good we got at medicine, life expectation is like so much longer. And the fact that you can be like, oh yeah, I have a magic ear the doctor put in so I could hear again. It's like, I underappreciated how incredible that is. Even if you're just describing like a piece of plastic that magically connects to your bones, it's still like, wow, someone cares enough about you to put plastic in your ears. Or whatever you're saying. Also, I really want to hear about the Philippines, by the way. I went in October and hated it, lol, says Visit Winchester. I tell you what, Visit Winchester, I promise that by the end of this stream, I'll tell you some details about my trip to the Philippines I got back from. But yeah, I feel like it's always a bit messy coming back from like a trip that long. I measured it like door-to-door internet, and it was a I think maybe 24, 25 hour travel time, like door-to-door on that last day. And so there's something about having a whole day dedicated to travel that I love personally. Like, I think this is a weird thing to say, but I think like coming up with ideas, which is like a huge part of the job of being a YouTuber, whether it should be or not. Actually, I think it should be. I think it's even now, I think it's the only part of the YouTuber craft that can't be like AI automated or farmed out to like, you know, a team of like 8 people with editing. You know, I feel like it's the one part of being a YouTube channel that like truly can't be done by multiple people. You know, I mentioned this a lot, but YouTube used to be like, oh yeah, it's just some people making videos, and it's cool that there are corporate channels. But I think no matter who you are, you have to have a very intense video process. I think we have an error with the member count. Why do you think there's an error, Days of Danny? Good to see you, by the way. Happy Sunday. Yeah, so one of the things I love, I wanna mention this here. So I went to the hospital chat, and one of the things I absolutely loved about going there was the fact that I got in at like 8:30, and I had to wait around until 9 for something or other. I don't know what it was, but I was in the hospital for just like 20 minutes of chill time, or you know, like I guess chill time is the best way to put it. So, and I want to mention this specifically because I went into what was like a mix of like a public and a staff cafeteria. Like it was like a staff area, like it was off to the side, like there was no people, it was all nurses and stuff going in there. But what I thought was fun, internet, was that if you haven't heard, in the UK there's a new like mega McDonald's burger. We've gone past the era of pretending that McDonald's has to be healthy, and now they put out a 1,000-calorie burger called the Big Arch. It's even bigger than a Big Mac. It's got a unique sauce. It's crispy onions. It's really decent. If you crave McDonald's, you probably won't crave this. And it costs enough that you should probably just go to Five Guys. But it's a great burger. I like it a lot. It's very slimy, actually. So look, give me the benefit of the doubt. Also, WTH is that hat, lol. Wait, what hat? I don't see a hat. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you sure you saw a hat? I think you might have imagined it. Anyway, so the Big Arch is it's a pretty decent burger. But I saw in this staff waiting room had like microwave, and maybe I wasn't meant to be there if I'm being entirely honest. But in what I assume was also open to the public, so there was a bunch of like, you know, like staff eating their meals and like coming in to like buy things from vending machines. But also there was the remnants of a McDonald's meal on a table. And this is like a, you know, pretty prestigious hospital, I think. And so it's kind of funny to me that, like, you know, someone was like, I don't want to have a meal deal. I don't want to have vending machine food. I'm going over to McDonald's and I'm buying the new burger because I've had a hard day at work. But what I thought was really interesting is like, oh yeah, this person works in a hospital. Literally, like, health is their job, right? And they still decided to get, and it says on the bag, maybe I'm being nosy, but it said on the bag, like, Big Arch, large meal. So they got the large fries, the large drink. I don't know what the drink was. I wasn't going to look into that. But it means like, so not only was that like a £10 spend, I think it is, but also that's like $13 for my American viewers. What is happening here? Do you see this? Like, why is the Ghast spinning me around in circles all of a sudden? Ah, what a weird little thing. So we're learning about the Happy Ghast now. But yeah, so in the hospital room, there was this person that had this, like, 1,000-calorie burger plus fries. Effectively, like, most of a day's worth of calories, and I'm sure more than a day's worth of fat or saturated fat or whatever else. And it was really cool to see because you always see some doctor that's on the news being like, I think we should ban fast food because it's really, really awful for you. And a part of you goes like, wow, I mean, I guess a doctor, of all people, really gets that. But seeing, like, you know, like seeing some medical staff, someone who works in a place of literal health, where they see what happens if you don't have health, going for the Big Arch, going for the Big Daddy Burger in that way. I think it was like a useful reminder that, like, no matter how bad for you fast food is, there's going to be a place for it. Both because people like speed, I think. I think that McDonald's is not fast food. That's my hill I will die on. I will fight to the death on the idea that McDonald's is not, in fact, fast food anymore. And it's because all of you, what's the polite word for this? Bitches. All of you bitches are like, oh, I don't want to have any pickles on my burger. I don't want to have salt on my fry. And as a result, now it's like you go to McDonald's, it's a 10-minute wait while they perfectly cook it to your specifications. And meanwhile, me buying the burger the way the burger comes, because there's also, it's not just that there's like, you can customize every burger, but also there's like 10 times as many burgers. But all anyone really wants is a Big Mac or maybe like a double cheeseburger, or if you're going real crazy, what's the word? The chicken one. You know, like there's like 3 burgers people actually want. But just in case someone wants this weird niche burger with all the things removed, now my burger has to take a long time. And every time I'm like, oh, I went to a fast food place expecting fast food because I'm an idiot. And I need that I feel like I've got to, you know, if you actually want fast food, McDonald's isn't the place. I guess if you want fast hot food, it might be pretty decent. I don't... does anyone know, like, where can you go that's actually fast and hot food? The closest I can think of is, like, when you're in a market and they have those big pots filled with food, they'll just scoop it into a bowl for you, like, instantly. But even then, I feel like street food always has, like, lines attached. Where can you say, look, here is some money, give me some food that is hot and okay, as quickly as you can. I just want to know. But anyway, so yeah, it was fun to see at a hospital that they had that. It was also really cool. I had my doctor, my person who saw me, I don't know, did an incredible job of explaining what was wrong with my ear. All I could see looking into it was that, like, it had swollen, and if I touch here, the inside of my ear hurts. If I chew, the same is true. So it's a weird thing happening in there. I think something is just, like, swollen up massively. And, like, obviously as a layperson, I have no understanding of what that means or how to fix that. And it was just like, look, so here's what I can see. Admittedly, I can't see behind it because there's a lot of earwax in the way. But it's probably earwax that has caused an inflammation. He gave a whole great explanation. And he was like, yeah, technically speaking, because you were just canyoneering in the Philippines, this could be way worse. But, yeah, I thought it was pretty good how it was. Anyway, so yeah, it's, we've only been here for 15 minutes in Snet, but we've already gone on a rant about fast food. It's gonna be a good stream, just from that, you can tell. Speaking of being a good stream, I want to actually show you my end, right? And so one of the other fun things that I could do with this Ghast, you can have internal or an external ear infection. You can also have neither. You could have precisely neither. It sounds like you've only been to extremely slow McDonald's. I can get my custom roux burger in under a minute most of the time. Where do you live, Hack1MC? Like, in the broadest of senses? Because if I go to a busy train station, it's like 5-6 minutes. Actually, can I talk about one of my pet peeves? As someone who now owns a vehicle, so like I should be, you know, talking about how I'm like actually now being served by this great. But I've noticed that if you go to a fast food restaurant in a car, they'll give you the food like near immediately because they want to keep the drive-through line going. But if you go in person, it's like, yeah, you might be waiting for 8 minutes because priority goes to the people in the drive-through because they need to keep that line moving. But like when I go to a McDonald's in a car, I get out of the car because I would like to go and I don't know, like I don't want to. I had such a bad experience last time I went to a McDonald's in a drive-through. Like it's it's great if you are just saying like, yeah, I will have this one thing. It's tricky if you're trying to like apply anything or like it's a nightmare. Did you swim anywhere on holiday? Yeah. I swam in an active river with a bunch of like weird fish in it. I think they're the fish that like eat the skin off your toes. I remember thinking like, wow, if one of these got into my ear, that'd be a problem. But it probably won't happen. And I think there is a chance that it did happen in Snet. I think there's a chance that the thing I felt would probably not happen did in fact happen. And it's crazy. When does that ever happen? So I'm going to go back to my shulker box now. And pick up the rest of this. But yeah, chat, so this is an island that I've been trying to destroy for a while. Assuming it is the right island. It is. It's a very, very big island. But what's cool about it is now I can actually make a decent dent from it from underneath. Wait, what are these blocks over here? Why are they over here? I can make a decent dent in it from underneath. Or I could build like a whole parallel separate thing down here. I've got lots of options is what I'm trying to say. Earwax eating fish soon. Yeah, that'll give you an ear infection. Yeah, it was, I would do it again though. It was I think the highlight of my trip was this, it was this canyoneering experience. Like a professional guide, so I'm going to take out the rest of the glass, and then pick up the shulker box, hopefully. Pretty sure I got it. Yeah, there was this canyon, so it's like, apparently this is an activity people do, but I'd only heard of it in the abstract as like a weird, like extreme hobby before. But there's this thing called canyoning where you take a mountainside that has like, or like a canyon, but you know, like you go through a Minecraft ravine and you just slowly go through it, going over like super high jumps and falls and stuff. I've got videos of it, but I'm sure it'd be a pain to show you on a stream. But basically I did this thing, it was very fun. It involved going into water with all of my orifices a bunch of times. I remember the guy told me to do a cannonball once, and I whacked my butt so hard on the, like, stone floor that even now when I sit down, sometimes it hurts. But yeah, I had a great time in the Philippines. I think to visit Winchester's earlier point, like, oh yeah, talk about the Philippines. Well, what's going on there? I think it's the most interesting Southeast Asian country I've been to so far. Like, it's got a lot of good and a lot of bad, but that's what makes it interesting. It's not just purely like, oh yeah, it's real nice there, and it's not like, oh yeah, this is a place to avoid. It's like, this is a place that does things differently. And there's something kind of cool about that, right? Like, in the same way that I want a fast food place to try genuinely fast food, or, you know, I like that I'm placing glass around my end, because I know I'm probably, I know probably not that many people have placed glass all the way around their end. I like experimentation. I think that experimentation is how you find interesting new things. And I think that we don't have enough experimentation with countries anymore. Or at the very least, we don't look at the experiments other countries are doing. There's this kind of like standardization that is happening across the world, which is arguably like, you know, like some people, this is what some people dislike about globalization. Like, we are opening up trade between countries and basically saying, look, if let's pick a non-controversial country, if India can produce steel for half the price of any other country, you would be dumb not to just buy your steel from India. Admittedly, there's like a monopoly level in there at some point of like, well, if India produces all of the world's steel, then they can start being able to set the price at basically whatever they want. But in the game of global trade, we say that is the worthwhile thing. And so a lot of people don't like that because it means like, but I work in a steel factory and it might cost double as much, but it keeps me employed, damn it. But there's the other point of like, as we globalize more, which is to say not just buying things from the right, not just, you know, producing things in the same regions, but also saying, yeah, if this works in Korea, it can work in America. If it works in America, it can work in Spain, etc., etc. As we do that more and more, we start to like get a world that's more samey. I remember when I first started traveling, the easiest place to get in most countries, like, you know, by traveling I mean jumping on Ryanair flights, by the way, like like going to Copenhagen in particular. But I remember like the first time I, you know, started taking random days off and just seeing a European city, I would hear a lot from people being like, yeah, the capital city, it's the easiest place to get to, but it's also always the most generic in a country. Like, if you try to, every capital city is like every other capital city because they are all like kind of like picking from the same playbook or whatever. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective to have. Also glad you had a good time. I didn't go to Cebu. I was mostly in Manila, which really wasn't all that. Yeah, Manila, I think is it like the 12th largest city in the world? Maybe the 10th largest, like, metropolitan area. Manila is a ridiculous beast. Manila Airport was a bit of an ugly one too. But yeah, outside of that, Philippines was fascinating. So again, having tailbone damage is oddly fitting, says Eric Gauffier. You know, Eric Gauffier, you say it like that, and it makes a lot of sense. I guess the tailbone damage was meant to be, and therefore I can't even be upset about it, right? If I was meant to have tailbone damage, then clearly it's a great idea. So, Kat, do you think you're going to keep VV on for the Let's Play World? That's a really hard one. I'm enjoying the novelty of it right now. But every other time I've made a big switch, such as when I first switched from Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, I did it for a little bit and then I switched back. When I switched from Xbox One to Bedrock, I did it like kind of testingly, then I switched back. And so I wonder if this is the same. Vibrant Visuals is a huge new thing. One day this will be just what Minecraft looks like. You'll think it's weird when you look back at old Minecraft. You know, you'll have to describe to your kids like, oh yeah, Minecraft used to look like that. And then your kids will be like, were you okay? Were you on drugs or something? Why did you think that was acceptable? And I think that one day it will be ridiculous that Minecraft ever looked the way it did. But I think we are kind of like, you know, the natural way that you make huge improvements is little by little, kind of experimenting, if you will, to go back to my point. Also, good to see you, Rebecca White, and indeed, Lego Show TV. Do you think 1.22 will be the end update? So, Lego Show TV, do you want me to be real with you about this? We're in the end. We know 1.22 is coming. Maybe not as our next drop, maybe not even the one after that. But we know they've got plans to change the version number up one. So, here's the... here's the bottom line as I see it. I believe that. Oh yeah, my ear feels very funny right now. The stream ends up being shorter than usual. You can blame it on that, by the way. Yeah, it's like so scratchy. It's the worst bit. I'm pretty sure I scratched it too much, and it feels like I need to itch it so bad all the time. I feel like a dog with like a cone of shame on. It's like, no, I know how bad it gets if I itch it at this point, but also I just want to itch it so bad. Anyway, I'm honestly crushing on my Ghast, loving it. Unexpected. Yeah, the Happy Ghast is a really fun mob. Lot of good things going on with this guy. But yeah, the 1.22 is a really interesting one, and I think the easiest. This is like like what's the word? Like the easiest, most likely option, individually speaking, is an end update. I think Mojang knows that they can get a bunch of points of the community for an end update, but I think that it's still more likely that it's not an end update than it is by like a substantial amount. I think that if we look at the last few Minecraft updates, the last big success was the Nether update. Also, it's so hard to get the Happy Ghast to go down sometimes. I wish that it flew like creative more, almost. I know that sounds silly. Just load up the world in creative, Toycat. I don't know why you have to be American for that. But if you can press space to go up, you should be able to press like some button to go down. Maybe you could use the creative flying controls, like up on the D-pad. Anyway, I don't think we'll ever forget old Minecraft. 300 million copies is nothing to scoff at. For reference, Mario 1, 2, and 3 sold 55 million, and those designs are a cultural icon. But the thing that Minecraft does differently... So again, 1.22, probably not an end update. It's like a likely bet if you want to pick an individual bet, but not likely if you want to actually know what's happening. We'll only know what's happening when Mojang lets on. We know that they're hiring a new vanilla game director, right? That's something I mentioned in the Q&A this week. And so if they're hiring a new vanilla game director, I suspect that they probably have 1.22 planned, but they're planning out like what should be the strategy for the vanilla game going forwards. It's kind of tricky. Hope it's a salmon update. You know what? An entire update dedicated to salmon. You're talking my language, let me say. When it's really hot, I have a brief moment where I remember poor Toycat. I have no idea why he suffers like this. Portable AC, etc. Changes off this. So I just set up the portable AC unit today. I got the clamps that people recommended. Thank you, by the way, Internet. And I don't understand. I seriously, I'm starting to think that I must have like underfloor heating in here, or like there's something that is making this room hot. Because with the AC running and with like my window properly vented and everything else shut, it still is hotter in here than it is outside. Like, there is actively cold air coming in. It's well insulated. There is some amount of heat that just this room produces. But it was only 29 degrees in here today, which is, like, disastrous anywhere else, especially if you're working for hours. But, you know, like, it was better than before. So, yeah, chat. That's all I have to do. Heat rises, you're in a attic. But I don't understand why it doesn't rise out of the attic. Why does it sit here and torment me? The roof is getting hot. Oh, that's actually probably it. That I'm surrounded by... I assume it's black out there. Let me check. It's not black, but I'm just going to stick with what I said. So I'm surrounded by black, the most heat-absorbing color. Huh? And I guess in the sun it's just baking. It's like I've got solar panels, but like instead of getting energy, I'm getting. Maybe I should get solar panels to cover up the black. Actually, yeah. It's if you're actually curious, it's red, like most houses in the UK. But red is basically black, Internet. I wasn't exaggerating when I said it, and I'm sticking with that right now. Because your insulation that keeps you warm in winter. Yeah, the walls are so thick. Like, literally, chat, I'm not joking. I know this is dumb. But the walls here are, like, this thick. Like, thicker than my head. And it's all just filled with insulation, because I think that's, like, modern building requirements. Is that... It's, like, a smart idea, but it means that heat can get in, but it can't get out. Which is great for the winter. And just absolutely awful for the summer. There's a reason most attics are for storage, not for living in. Yeah, I can't imagine if this was my bedroom, I would just not sleep. Because that's, like, obviously, the attic is, if you've never seen my house, the attic is the biggest room. Because it's a weirdly shaped house. But the attic is by far the biggest room in this house. I can go, like, 2 meters that way and, like, almost 2 meters that way. Like, 4 meters in one room. In London, I know. 4 meters is a lot for a room, right? I feel like most rooms are nowhere near that size. Anyway, so it's the biggest room in this house. But in exchange, it has the slope roof. And also in exchange, you don't get to sleep. Which is a pretty big in exchange, if we're being honest. So I need to get some more glass internet. I'm going to bring maybe another shulker box with me. But first, since I'm going to be going back home anyway, why don't I take this netherite pickaxe, which I have been... Actually, should I set up a beacon too? Or why don't I take this netherite pickaxe... which I did actually, I deliberately did some trading for recently to keep it nice and refreshed. And why don't I do a little bit of destruction, but do it differently, do it from underneath. So I'm going to set up a beacon internet. I think that efficiency 5 plus a level 1 beacon might allow me to instant mine. It might be that I need level 2, but we'll see. I'm in an attic bedroom, having a lot of trouble sleeping at the moment. The house is so tiny that the upstairs is just an attic room. I'd hope 99.9% of us haven't seen your house. Xavier, you remember you can watch the house tour. Go look at my house. I do feel a bit weird about having shown my house on the internet sometimes, but then you know, it's like you have to know when the parasocial internet thing is correct and not. And I would say the actual answer is like it depends on the times. I think people have gotten a little bit better at like. I think now that every type of, you know, like internet celebrity or influencer is micro, you know, like they're, I think because of the rise of like TikTok, Instagram and stuff, I feel like now everyone like understands like, oh yeah, there are YouTubers and they're just people. You can go look at Renee Zellweger's house and that's fine. It's not, by the way, but you if you were to look at like, you know, Eating with Todd's house, that would be weird. Because he's just a guy who eats food and gets paid thousands of pounds for it, you know? So, Tokat, do you still have a cat that comes and visits you? He hasn't in a while, actually. I'm a little bit concerned. I worry that his owner is keeping him on a better leash. Which is a shame, because he was a great communal cat. I've been thinking about getting a cat, you know? Like, making that life upgrade. I think, also, there are so many Endermen here. Which means I did not place enough torches, which is a me problem. So let's go fix that me problem. Oh god, with vibrant visuals, it really is hard to like be sure to. So over here it looks kind of dark. Let's dig a hole, put a torch in it. By putting these torches in holes, by the way, it just means we can mine with less stress later, which is important. Nobody likes stress, especially not me. I mean. I think some people actually do like high-stress environments. It's a type of person I'm not sure I get. I think, actually, if I were to put it this way, I think high-stress environments are great when you know exactly what to do. High-stress environments where you feel really competent are actually, like, quite desirable to a lot of people. Because, you know, low-stress environments means you don't get an opportunity to, like, show your skill. It's like how I love the basically being dead, being attacked by 3 mobs, but knowing exactly what to do about it feeling. Chat. One of my favorites. So I think I keep a beacon in. Oh, come on. No, I don't. I don't agree to your terms. I think I keep a beacon in here, chat. No. Come back. Oh, no. No, there we go. So I'm going to go underneath now, and I'm going to start mining this island from down up. As silly of an idea as that seems, this is something I can now do. So this is an island I've been trying to get rid of in my end for some time now. It's provided me so much endstone, I literally don't know what to do with it. And now if I want to, I can mine it from underneath. And at least flatten it out down here. Which is kind of fun, right? Like, being able to mine things from underneath. I could also make it look way different. I could fill it in from underneath. I've got choices. Also, badges. Mushroom. Anyway, yeah, so, this just makes me wonder what on earth the glare would have done. Yeah, if I had a glare right now, Would it have actually been useful? No. I think that the glare functionality is one that wouldn't make sense as a mob, right? It's something you definitely want as a item. I was going to say block, but even a block would be silly. You'd want to have an item that just says, you are in light level 11. Can you accidentally walk off your Ghast? Yes, you can. Do you want to see it happen, cat? Whee! What I want to know, I kind of want to test this, but not on my live Let's Play, where I will die, is do you think you can take a Ghast below Y0? I really want to play around with that stuff. I haven't had the chance to play on a new update at the moment because my computer is in my room, which is an attic, and it's currently boiling. I'm sorry to hear that, Carlisle, but I'm glad you're in solidarity with me. You know, attics sure do be hot, don't they? Yeah, it's very cool though. Yeah, the badger thing, by the way, just once every 5 years it comes into my soul. So thank you for getting it in there a little bit earlier. But yeah, Days of Danny, why do you think the member count is off? Please do let me know. I'm sure that it's not, but I could be horribly wrong. I could be incorrectly sure that it's not. A compass or clock level item that changes color based on a light level could be cool. Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea, personally. I think, I think though, like, the compass and the clock that exist right now need to be worked into better ideas. Like, I think the respawn compass isn't the worst thing. But I think it'd be better if there was some combination of things. I think that Minecraft is great at adding new items, but some amount of consolidation would be good. No one uses a clock and no one uses a compass. If you combined the two, would the same number of people use it? Probably slightly more. But yeah, getting a... the recommendation, by the way, the easiest one, if you don't want to invest in a portable AC system or anything like that, I agree with Kat, is if you live in an attic like me, getting a fan will make a huge difference. I can't use a fan besides very quiet ones because obviously it's going to show up on the recording. But yeah, if you... There's also, like, know which side... Because if you live in an attic, you have windows on both sides. So know which side is hot and which side is cold. So you can let air in at appropriate times. And if you make a few steps on it, then you can at least get your inside slightly cooler than the outside. For me, it's, like, really cool in here from, like, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. And so I just got back from the Philippines on my 25-hour travel day. And what's really cool, chat, I've been loving this, is, I talk all the time about this, but people talk about jet lag like it's some bad thing. And every time I mention the word jet lag, I'm reminded of my, so I've got the Nether Stars. I could easily craft me a beacon. I just don't have the rest of the stuff. It's weird, I swear I put my beacon in here, but I guess I swear incorrectly. Which is a good news for something else. The very first time I got on a flight internet, like as an adult, was my estranged father wanted to see me because he hadn't since I was born. And so you know, he arranged a flight for me to go out to where he was. Just to be clear, that where that was like, you know, a corner off the UK. Yeah, I can just say it's in Northern Ireland. And so it was funny, like, the whole time I was there, I was a bit, like, socially uncomfortable. Because, you know, these are two people I've never met before. One of whom, because it's my father and his, maybe wife, maybe girlfriend. But it was, like, it was an interesting thing, like, I was, like, a bit socially awkward because I didn't know anything. They're like, oh, you must be so jet-lagged. And I think about it all the time of, like, you know, to some people, does jet lag just mean when you're on a plane, you are tired? Because I've heard it a few times since then, like, oh yeah, getting so badly jet lagged from this. And it's like, but it's the time zones that are meant to jet lag you. It's not like Ghast lag, you know, it's not describing a type of lag. But apparently for some people it does. Visit Winchester says, have you ever crossed the international date line? My body was so messed up after doing Shanghai to LA. Oh, very cool. You are a traveler of very international proportions. Visit Winchester. To answer your question, no. I want to. I really want to do a trip round the world. Like, rather than, like, you know, the Philippines is 24 hours from my home, apparently. Or if I went the other way around the world, it would be 27 hours or something. Maybe 28. Actually, it can't be that much more. I don't think you can ever be that much more than 24 hours away from home. So, like, the Philippines to, like, LA is going to be, like, 13, 14 hours. And then, like, 10 hours to home. Yeah, so, basically what I'm saying is it'd be cool to go on a trip where you go all the way around the world that way. I think that would feel amazing. Side note, but I've lost my Ghast. Has anyone seen it? Is she down here, maybe? This is why you know, actually, okay, I'm gonna have to go looking in third person. Anyone see a Ghast? There. Oh my god, what a ridiculous location to get to, by the way. Elytras are necessary if you don't tie your Ghast down, because otherwise, how would I get that Ghast back, right? Like, literally, how would I do it? The answer is I would not do it. I would be sad and I would be missing some stuff. See, I'm gonna cut down the bottom of this here to make it work. Oh, gang, I literally just got home from a 7-month trip around the world. Wait, what were you doing on a 7-month trip around the world? Tell me about it, Visit Winchester. What was the life event? I feel like, you know, like, that's a bit long for a holiday, so presumably you were going through some form of crisis. Or maybe the opposite. Also, Red Source Gaming says, thanks so much for making my day. I join one of my streams, the rest of my life just fades away. You're welcome. I feel like these streams are so varied that I sometimes feel bad, like, if you show up to a ToyCat stream, you literally don't know what you're gonna get. And I sometimes think, like, should I standardize that? And it's like, no, that's not the fun. Let's make it the roulette draw. Are we talking about life, the universe, or everything, or are we talking about fast food today? Literally, who knows? Yeah, I think, like, one of those things that, like, you know how, like, some people just have the ideas of, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could work literally any job, but also have literally anything you wanted? You know, wouldn't it be cool if economics wasn't real, in other words? And it's, like, a very relatable and also true thought, that sometimes things are ruined, or sometimes things are made much harder, by the realities of the world. But what my version of, like, I wish everything could be free, but also for some reason people would go to work. My version of that is, wouldn't it be cool if everyone could take, like, a year off work somewhere in their life? Like, this, in my opinion, I think it would be worth, the government would never do this because people love retiring at certain ages. Even young people love to complain, like, I won't be able to retire till I'm 67. It's like, you're 23. You're not you're not gonna, as far as you're concerned, retirement is a fun dream. You have to hope that people who have not been born yet are deciding to work a bunch of extra hours in their 40s, so you can work no hours. Like, that's, if you think retiring at 67 is bad, it's just bad news for you. So, given that retirement is like this fun pipe dream anyway for a lot of people, I think that the retirement age should be pushed up 1 year, and everyone should get 1 year of their life where you get to just be like, look, I am going to, you know, like, effectively take a pension year early, and then you could travel, or you could, I don't know, what do you do? Even if you just sit there and play video games, I feel like one of the most important things in life for me was the moment where I felt like, this is optional now. And now that school goes all the way till you're 18, it's like, well, you don't get to have that feeling of, I am making these decisions because I want to. And if you go straight from school to a job, then you might not ever have those feelings. Whereas Visit Winchester going on a 7-month post-relationship breakup crisis and a long backpacking trip. Asia, Oceania, finishing up in the US. Oh, that's really cool. That's really, really fun. I'm sure you are a more emotionally rounded person than before you went. I'm sure the breakup was basically a good thing, based on what you're saying to me now, Visit Winchester. To be honest, that just means you're lazy, ToyCat. Oh yeah, I think everyone, I'm surprised, like, you can, I think being lazy is a surprisingly common trait. I think we act like it's a sign of, like, I don't know what the word is, like being a bad, you know, it's like slovenliness, right? Like being lazy is a bad thing in popular culture. But even though being lazy is, you know, seen that way, even though it's got this negative rep, actually, as long as you're meeting your obligations, if you're meeting them in a lazy way, you often try to do it better and faster, right? Like, I don't know how to describe this any better way, but like, if someone says to you, you know, you've got to send out 600 invites, and then they're expecting you to spend a whole day sending out 600 individual invites, but you work out that you can, like, send this, you know, like, because you're sending the same words to everyone, you print out the invites with the word already in it, then you just sign the person's name. If you know, like, if you save yourself 6 hours of work by being lazy, then that's good, you know, like, that's, I would argue, like, the whole reason we have thoughts, right, chat? This is, like, a bit evolutionary science of me, I know, but it's, the only reason we have thoughts to begin with, if you believe, that, you know, humans slowly got to where we are, and we've not been designed by some grand creator, but the reason that we have thoughts and the ability to process and reason is, even though brains are like the most the reason we require so many calories in a day is because our brain uses so many. There's a lot of stuff happening up here. You know, the reason we can reason about, like, does the universe exist without us? What was it like not to be born? The reason we can struggle with these thoughts for as long as we can and actually have useful things come out of that is because of the fact that we have brains with reason. And the reason we have brains is because it actually is sometimes worth spending a bunch of energy to be lazy. Putting a bunch of effort into being lazy is not actually being lazy anymore. Whereas if you're the sort of person who's like, well, I was told to do 600 invites, that's going to take me 6 hours, so I guess I just better crack on with it. It's a different thing. It's funny because I feel like in Minecraft, I am the opposite. I think I love being anti-lazy. I would love to sit here for the next 5 hours and just destroy this end island. I think I would have a good time. I think we'd have a good chat. It'd be fun. Also, Hannah Joy says we are biologically inclined to prefer convenience. It's pretty normal. Yeah. I think some people though, like, you know, maybe like your mother pops into your room when you're 12 years old and says, "Stop being lazy and watching TV and start doing something productive." Like that, there is a very real feeling that, like, doing a puzzle or a crossword or Sudoku is more useful in some way. Like, I think the less you want to do something, the more impressive it is that you can do the thing, is, like, societally true, right? I think the reason people were impressed with my End Glass project back in the day was because it's like, oh yeah, that is a very large-scale project. When I want to do something, I just do the thing in the next hour, or I don't. I think big survival projects have become massively overdone on YouTube now, by the way, just as a mild side note, but yeah, there's so many holes here. You know, like, I kind of take that as a compliment. Like, one of the earliest, like, viral videos of a big project was this one right here. It's called The Human Condition, says WebSpeed. Yeah, exactly. But I think some people get it inside themselves, but, like, being, you know, wanting to have convenience is bad. You know, it's the same reason why I think people are really negative about fast food. You know, like, I think even negative about people who eat fast food, being like, oh, so you're that lazy you can't cook for yourself? And I think there's some truth to it if you have financial problems, because if you are preferring convenience to the point where you are damaging yourself, then that is bad. But I think that's true for everything in life. If you like doing Sudokus to the point where it's damaging you, then bad news, you should stop doing Sudokus. It's probably the easiest, like, lesson for anything in life, right? Is, like, if this thing hurts you, maybe don't do the thing, even if the thing is objectively a good thing by itself. You know, if you you can eat salad a bunch all day, every day if you like. Eventually, it's going to become bad. MC farming. But how often do you cook, says just in case? Don't ask. I mean, I arguably cooked twice today. Is that enough times to cook? I had 2 fried fish from the chickpea this week, but had it with some homemade salad, balance or something. See, homemade salad is a funny one, Kat. I'll totally agree. Like, it's weird. I feel like there's not really such a thing as not homemade salad, and I'm actually disappointed with that. Like, I feel like there needs to be, like, a salad that is actually tasty to eat. Like, it comes not pre-dressed, but they're like, here is a salad, here is a dressing, put it together, here's some protein in a set. I feel like there's no real good supermarket version of that. But yeah, I think Toycat needs to work harder and make more videos so I can be entertained while being lazy. Yeah, the reason you're here right now, live streams are a very long form, but arguably a lazy, form of entertainment, right? Like, you don't even have to switch the channel because it's the Toycat channel. And in exchange, you're getting stream of consciousness right now, which is objectively quite low quality. I mean, what is the stream of my consciousness really worth, I would like to believe it's quite high, but I know in my heart it's not. Why is there a totem of undying in this chest, by the way? I don't know what to do about that, and so I guess I'm going to do nothing about it. For now, I'm going to open up this shulker box, though, and we should be able to load it all the way to the top. But yeah, it's good to see you, Dasher. Welcome to the live stream. How are you doing today? A moneyless society where everything is rationed, so it's distributed fairly, but you only get your portion of things if you work, says Giovanni Codasso. See, but doesn't that sound pretty miserable? Like, for some people, you wouldn't want to use all your rations, and for other people, you'd want more than your rations. So you'd start trading with those people and saying, look, could I have some of your rations of fish? I want more fish than I'm allowed, but I'm not allowed to have them. So I could give you some of my rations for eggs. Or, because you don't want any rations, because you're just a pretty chill guy, how about instead... So this is one of these chests is filled with glass. Oh, actually, I've got one more shulker box of glass left, chat. Oh. I've got a bunch of sand, so I could easily take some of that over. Do something with that, maybe. Yeah, I guess I should. If I've got this much sand. At some point, it needs to be smelted. So let's make some point right now. And then also grab some glass to continue on the process. So I'll just take out some of these. And yeah, if you've never seen chat, I do have a very grand smelting plan. So is this... Should I take this chest too? It feels like it would be better than leaving it there. Actually, yeah, let's leave the sand here. Let's take out these and put them literally anywhere else. And let's smelt up this sand. So, Totem of Undying, you can go right in here. Yeah, that's a good place for a totem. 16 dark oak planks. I think I have a place for you too. Not really, actually, but yeah, technically speaking. We nailed it. But yeah, I think, also female dog tax. Speaking of female dogs, look at my lovely painting. Isn't it nice? Every time I see it, things are good. Hey, thank you for the gifted memberships, Jura. I hope the Pawns Art Pieces 2 enjoys their new channel membership. Yeah, there was a funny thing there was a funny thought I had recently, right, chat? So, like I mentioned, I had to delay Friday's stream because I was dealing with some I don't know, some ear issues. It's kind of weird, actually. Like, I'm starting to feel, like, sleepy more. It makes me think there is, like, something wrong with my body that is manifesting through the air. Also, oh, it's so... I don't think I was in Vibrant Visuals the last time I was in my overworld. It looks so crazy. Just looking around here. Anyway, yeah, I'm so sad this account is technically a brand account and I can never receive a membership. If you need a membership, Hacker1MC, one day, you too can have one. For the, I can hook you up for the low price of just $4.99. Side note, how did that beacon just come out of nowhere? You all saw that, right? Am I crazy for thinking it? I feel like I'm not crazy. So yeah, life is really just a game, but if you don't do enough, you die or lose, so you gotta beat life the game or whatever. I mean, I would argue life kind of is a game with a really odd set of rules. And I mean, like, arguably you can simplify anything down to a game. But the reason that that is true is a lot of games are based on people's life experiences, right? Even Minecraft in particular, it's not a realistic game necessarily, but it is a game that clearly takes a lot from... Oh, I'm running very, very low on actual ability to smelt. And I have a ton of sand in here already, apparently. So I'll load the sand into other chests. So yeah, at some point we're going to have to come back here and start dealing with this sand. And at some point we're going to have to bring a bunch of lava over. Something I wasn't fully prepared for, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, so these are my auto sand smelters. They are useful because they are easy. Like a lot of things. So cat, our bodies take longer to recover as we get older. By the way, I've got... My contacts are like getting a little stuck in my eyes, so I have to like shut them a little more. It feels like it's wild. So I've mentioned like jet lag is seen as this like negative thing, but I love getting westbound jet lag. Like I love waking up at 4 AM and feeling like you had a whole night's sleep because you went to bed at 8 PM. And I literally can't do it. I've got like this real, I don't know how to like, I guess night owl energy if we want to like describe it as something. I think I naturally am not someone who wakes up. Why do I have sand in here? Let's throw the sand in here. Maybe not the smooth sandstone, actually. That can stay in this chest. So yeah, now we can smelt up glass, and every time we check a chest, there'll be more glass for me to take. Isn't that nice and lovely? I've got a bunch of buckets should I want to fill them with lava. I probably should get a lava smelter thing and put it around it. Or actually, I guess I already do. Wait, chat. I was like, oh no, where am I going to get all that lava from? Actually, I've got the problem solved right here, because I keep all of these handily nearby, and in this case, handily fillable. So we'll just bucket all the way through. Oh no, I'm dropping lava on the ground. Not perfectly ideal. But now this means that I can just throw these in here as needed. Lava buckets everywhere. 4 for there. And then 4 for here. And then we'll keep on going. But yeah, so what I'm loving, so I get you in the stream early. Sounds like you're feeling rough. No, what I love is this, like, when I finish the stream and like, you know, at like 9 something PM or 8 something PM or whatever the time is, it's gonna be incredible because I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, been a long day, looking forward to going to bed, and then I'm actually going to be able to sleep. Like it's gonna feel like I'm, you know, I've stayed up super late, and it's just one of those great feelings that I think is it's the real reason that everyone should be able to travel on a time and money level. It's so that you can experience the feeling. I don't know. It's a crazy good feeling to me. So, Kat, is there something new with the community challenge? I haven't heard an update from Mojang yet, but I think they take the office hour concept very seriously. I could be quite wrong. Yeah, I could be very wrong. So yeah, this is just while we're here, by the way, one of the things that I need a lot of glass for, one of the reasons I'm smelting so much up, is this. I want to build a big lava river through here. It's just been such a pain to actually place it. Although I will say with Vibrant Visuals, lava looks a bit better when it's just flowing. Do you agree with me on that one, chat? Also, where is this light coming from? What? Weird. So weird. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. No dreams, just the loving dark. So Kat, it's like taking off socks after 10 hours. I have a confession, internet. I have a confession. I don't think that taking off your clothes to sleep actually makes any sense. So I sleep with most of my clothes on. I think my most hilariously, like, I think every guy has a, oh, I didn't understand that a girl was flirting with me moment. And I think mine might be, like, the the most tragically unaware that you can picture. Did that Ghast just get away from the... Oh no, she's still tied up, it's fine. I think I have the most, like, tragically unaware story on this one, internet. I've been so spoiled with all the new capes, I want another one. I want to earn a cape dasher. I want to have to place my... I want to have to have been one of the million people to place down a dried Ghast to get my cape. Or whatever the things may be. I would love to see a cape done that way. You know, community challenge, but cape. Side note, I had no idea there was water there. Very, very glad. Oh, I mean, I couldn't see it visually. I knew it was there emotionally. I honestly fully clothed. It's super cold. So, let me tell you my story now. There was this girl that I had, like, vaguely been around for a while. I'd, like, the very first time we'd met, I'd, like, made some very... You know, we had, like, a... I don't know what you want to call it, like a history. But, like, it was, like, this was a girl that I was, like, would love to be a little close to. It was a little neurotic. When you're 16, that's great. Was a little quirky. Was into video games. Was great. And so we were staying in the same place for weird reasons. But we were staying in the same you know, house for a little bit. And at one point, like I'm in one room, she's in another, and then she's like, "Oh, do you want to watch this like TV show with me? It's called Cougar Town." She's older than me. It's a funny little thing. So we watched the Cougar Town, and it's whatever. And then she's like, "You know, do you want to just sleep here? Actually, like it'll be totally fine." I'm like, "Oh, okay." You know, like she's like, "Yeah, it will like keep me warm or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I've been doing this thing recently, where I almost wanted to impress her with this of like, oh yeah, what I do right is when I was a teenager, when I was like 15, I got really big into just sleeping with all my clothes on. Because then the worst part, I don't know why more people don't hate this. Putting on socks in the morning is one of the worst parts of my day. Because socks aren't just like, whoop, on they go. It's like, you have to get them up to your ankle and then like get it round your ankle and then go up your leg. It's the worst. I don't know how everyone puts socks on in the morning. You know, I know some people think that they are lazy, but trust me, until you are struggling with putting on socks, you're not me level lazy. So I was just like, oh yeah, and then like a t-shirt, and there's like a lot of steps in getting dressed. Like the only time that you should really be taking off clothes is to shower, right? And so I was like, oh yeah, no, I sleep with all my clothes on. It's like a thing that I'm doing. And she's like, you'll probably be too warm. And I was like, no, definitely not. And because I was kind of seeing this as like a critique of my strategy. She was like, no, you'll be too warm. You should definitely like take some clothes off so we can like sleep in the same bed. And I was like, no, I no need for that whatsoever. I am perfectly great. And what's crazy is, you know, like I slept in all of my clothes while maybe she took off a couple of hers, but just a single layer or something. And then she was like, "Are you sure you're not too hot?" And I was boiling. Internet. It's like 28 degrees. It is so hot outside, and I'm wearing like a hoodie and trousers. And but at this point, I'm defending my pride, and so I'm like, "No, it is exactly the right temperature. Don't you worry about this." And so yeah, not wanting to take off my socks to go to bed might have lost me a little bit. I might have missed out on some flirting as a result on that. A critique of my strategy, spoken like a true gamer. Yeah, I feel like it's the dumbest thing, but I think we all get attached to things that aren't us. Like if you're a sports fan, if someone insults your team, the Boston Red Sox, Manchester United, and the Chicago Blackhawks all suck. But oh yeah, if you like those things, then you must be stupid, is what I'm saying. You must be not very intelligent. I mean, with the performance of their players, I can't believe you do that. I'm sure that if you are a supporter of one of those teams, you're like, oh, toy cat. Even if you know that I'm like joking, a part of you is probably offended. We kind of connect with things bigger than ourselves, and I connect with ideas. I feel like if someone said that my fast food idea is stupid because they're like, oh, but in my one scenario I get the food better, therefore I want it to be customized. It's like, no, you're wrong on this one. The idea, you know, I think, maybe this is wrong, maybe this is right, but I think that good ideas are worth, you know, defending and fighting for, whatever. Shall we sleep in our clothes? Yes, quite. I am very attached to my hobbies. Yeah, right. If someone said your hobbies are dumb, you'd be like, no. Oh, rude. I think we all get attached to some things that are bigger than ourselves. And at the time, I took this as an attack on my genius idea. Because I think there's a lot of life. I would describe myself as being a little bit cynical, internet. And a lot of people think cynical just means like being negative. But I think really we need to take time to appreciate why is it that we want the things that we want. You know, obviously my idea of like sleeping in all of my clothes, not that great, especially in hot temperatures. You're gonna sweat through them and blah, blah, blah. Like, but that's the actual reason you can't sleep in your clothes. A lot of people, if you ask them why do you take off your clothes to go to bed, they're not gonna give you the actual answer. They're gonna, what's the word, backwards rationalize. They're going to give you an answer that isn't actually true and doesn't make sense. And even if it does, it's because they were taught that by someone else. So much of life is us doing things that we don't quite understand. Or, you know, what's the phrase on this? Like, we do things that we, you know, we do things we don't care about to impress people we don't like. Because life is filled with, like, these status games. Like, or life is filled with things that we have to do for the sake of impressing other people. I think a classic example of this is like going to certain places or like seeing certain people. For a lot of people, it's a flex to be like, oh yes, my family are friends with Mark Cuban, so you know you've seen him. Or you know, I don't know who it is. Like if like knowing people is seen to be a good thing, and like so too is like doing all sorts of weird social traditions. You know, fashion, I think, is the craziest example of this. But actually, at some point, you have to say, like, do I actually care? Or am I being convinced that I care by this societal pressure? You know, peer pressure, but on a more societal level. And so I think actually having a moment to, like, question whether ideas make sense is important. Being cynical is actually a valuable trait that everyone needs. Because otherwise, you'll end up doing things you don't want to do more often. So, Kat, you're talking about this because I said taking off your socks. And I said that I'm not taking off my socks because it's not a good idea. No, what's interesting is in some cultures, I have the actual answer for me. I read online it was freeing, and so I tried it out, Lamau. Oh, you mean taking off clothes is free? That's kind of fun. I personally, because like some people get freed from like constriction, right? So, do you know how babies, human beings like to sleep in a bed with a bunch of space around them? Like, the number of adults I know who have like a double or a king bed for themselves is surprisingly high, given that you don't need that much space. Like, have you ever shared a single bed with someone, chat? If you haven't, let me assure you, there's no need to do it, but you can. As long as you both don't really move too much, you'll be fine. But a single bed is meant for one person, but we love having more space. But I think, like, you know, there's like an instinct inside of people where it's really easy to be cozy in a tight space too. I think a bed is a bad example, but imagine a bed with little walls around the edge. It's a little bit cozier. It's the same reason, like, even when it's hot outside, it's hard to sleep without a blanket on top. There's something about the coziness of it, you know? There's something about being surrounded that is actually quite appealing. We have a super king size, and my husband's feet still don't fit. Oh, that's funny. The number of bed sizes that exist, by the way, far too great. I feel like we need more standardization, but that's probably the XKCD comic where we're just going to create another standard. In America, have you ever looked at the way beds work there? They've got like California king, Wyoming king, Alaska king. Just naming more and more bed sizes after more and more famously large states. I sleep with at least the thin sheets so the monsters don't get me. Yeah, literally, even if it's like that the sheet that would go on your bed, having that is such a game changer. But yeah, so where you say you find it freeing to take off clothes, I find it like I get my feet get so cold if I take off socks. I used to wake up in the middle of the night in my old house being like, oh, yeah, I would go and put socks on, and it would take, because getting heat into socks actually takes a while. It would take me a long while to feel okay again. Was a whole problem. So I can't do a whole extra layer of this, but you can see, chat, literally an entire shulker box full of glass takes me only an extra layer or two down. I think to truly finish this project, I'm going to need at least like 10, 11, 12 shulker boxes of glass, which means we've got some more desert destructions. No, I only wear socks though. Oh, you only wear socks? That is fascinating. Do you think Happy Ghast should let you place blocks off them? The only reason I'd be against this is if you had no reason to use scaffolding anymore. Yeah, I think though Minecraft should, like, instead of making new features worse, they should make old features better. So, arguably, there's no reason to use the compass if you have coordinates. Or there's no reason to use the clock if you have eyes. But I think the easiest way to fix that is to make those features better. And I think the same thing is true for scaffolding. It would be so cool if I could place this you know, glass off the Ghast. It would be incredibly useful, I'll even say. It is a real shame that you can't. It's something I would love to see them fix. And I think that scaffolding doesn't... I think scaffolding can be made better. I think that that is the solution to it. I think that Minecraft... because Minecraft is a single-player game, in a multiplayer game you have to balance things with buffs and nerfs. If you make everything better all the time, you get feature creep... No, power creep. But yeah, it's... I feel like you can just make things better and better and better because it's a single-player game. And ultimately, as long as people who get back into the game still feel like it's Minecraft... Like, I think the one thing that they have to be really cautious of is, like, adding Netherite to the game was a big deal, but now they can't add anything above Netherite or that challenges Netherite or that you use instead of Netherite for, like, another 10 years. Because once people... Like, I think there are going to be people who get back into Minecraft now, and this sounds crazy, but, like, there are going to be people who get into Minecraft now that have never experienced Netherite and are going to have to learn about it. So imagine if they made Netherite Plus, how jarring that would be for people who would have to learn about that too. Side note, but I love the way that water works. This makes no sense, but also I love it. So, absolutely perfect, I say. Do you think the end flashes will be changed in the future? In the sense that I think most things will be changed in the future. Yeah. W speech, instead of Minecraft making new textures worse, they should make old textures better. Toy cat who wears socks when he sleeps. If you don't wear socks when you sleep, by the way, give it a shot. You might find that your feet get a lot less cold. Scaffolding's worst feature is a limit to how many you can place to the side. Oh yeah, they should definitely up that. Like, I think they went from 4 to 6 during the beta phase. I think they need to take it up to like 10 or something ridiculous. Because otherwise, what you end up doing is you have to place blocks anyway. Like, it's workable around, but it's just a pain. Let's just concede scaffolding could be way better and it wouldn't be OP. I think it'd be great. I prefer your idea of alternative ways to upgrade your gear, so Netherite isn't only best. Have you played around with Toycat's Toolkit, KMB? I really love the way we did Endscry, where it's based on iron armor. So it's actually slightly worse for you than either diamond or Netherite armor, but in exchange it gets, you know, pretty powerful abilities. I thought that was a fun thing to do. But in exchange also it doesn't require a template like Netherite. There's a lot of... I love balancing things, and I love, like, the feeling of feeling like it's just been gotten right. And I feel like I've got that for a lot of Toycat's Toolkit. Oh, no. It's going to go some places now. If I dig this hole deeper, I can remove this block, right? Yeah, I can. Yeah, water is such a bizarre Minecraft feature. Such a bizarre feature. Sleeps in Netherite boots and calls them socks. I mean, am I wearing socks right now, Internet? That's the question for you. But yeah, Internet, I'm sorry to do this to you. I know it's been a fairly short stream. But I am having just like intermittent bursts of pain, and it is like messing with me a little bit. I think it's something I am slowly working on. I apologize for interrupting your stream today and for making it slightly shorter than it otherwise could have been. But I hope that you enjoyed this stream regardless. I hope that you choose to question more of the things that are around you and wonder whether you really want something or whether the world has just convinced you want it. Because there are lots of things that are great and people say are great, but there are lots of things that people say are great that are, you know, probably worth skipping to be the least polite we could be, or to be the most polite we could be, and are absolutely not worth your time, money, or effort, if I'm being less nice. I have a lot of questions we have to ask about, like, should I actually do these pillars, chat? I kind of like the idea of grabbing a bunch of purple glass and maybe making it out of one of those. Maybe that's a fun idea we'll have to test. But also, I want to test getting Ghast. I've got a lot of things I want to test in this world. I hopefully you do too. But for now, I'm just going to go lay down and hope that all of my pain goes away. And yeah, I'll see you on Wednesday, potentially, for our next stream internet. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And I'll see you soon. On Tuesday, we've got the beta, and on Wednesday, we'll have a live stream. Will be a great time. Have a great night. And yeah, this stream was brought to you by Twincat's Toolkit. Yeah, it came up naturally that time. Oh, you can right-click while shift-clicking? Oh. Did you know that, internet? Left and right-click both do the same thing here. Anyway, thank you. Because I'll see you next time. Or will I? Yeah, I will. Unless I literally die from ear pain. Which, as far as I know, isn't a thing. Goodbye.